Finishing up section 4-3, we just have the change of base formula. And it's basically a formula that can be used. You can change the base of a log to input it into your calculator. And here's what it is right here. You have log of some base, so log base b of x, equals log of another base, so we're going to call it a of x over log of that base of b. So this is basically how you're going to be using it. So if you're asked to evaluate log base 8 of 5, and you were going to try to do it by hand, you'd set this equal to x and rewrite it into exponent form, 8 to the x equals 5, and you'd quickly realize that you would get stuck just because you couldn't evaluate it 8 to what power is 5. It has to be some type of decimal. So what you would go ahead and do is you'd use this formula. You'd do log of 5 over log of 8. So basically this part, the 5, goes in the numerator, and the base stays in the base, goes to the denominator. And this will give you a value that you can type right in if you don't have the base that you can use on your calc. So you will get 0.774. And I can change this to any base. Instead of having base 10, I chose base 10 because it's on the calculator. I can use natural log if I want. So I could have done natural log of 5 over the natural log of 8. I can use any base that I want. So I did the 5 here, base to the base, and that would still give me, and you can test it out on your calc, 0.774. So I can basically change it in any base I want. So in this example, you're asked to graph log base 3 of x on your calculator. And again, if your calculator only works in base 10, you're going to have to actually type in log of x over log of 3. You're going to have to put it in base 10 so you can type it in. So you would type this in, and then you'd get your graph. So below, I'll show you how you type in log of x over log of 3. Here's the graph that you get. And then if you have a calculator that can work in another base besides 10, and it could be able to handle log base 3 of x just by typing in, notice how you get the exact same graph. So either way, you get the same graph. One's just changing the base, one would not be. So moving on to section 4-4, we're going to be solving equations. The first part is exponential equations. So here's step 1. You're going to get the base and the exponent on one side of the equation. So you have to isolate the base and the exponent. Step 2. You're going to log both sides to bring down the exponent. So you're going to use natural log when the base is e. So you're going to log both sides if you have a base that's a number, or if the base is e, you're going to use natural log. Step 3. You're going to solve for the variable. And the big thing to remember is when you're using natural log, the natural log of e is 1. Remember, these are inverses of each other. Natural log is a log base e, and log base e of e is equal to 1. So natural log of e is 1, remember that. So the first example, we're going to be solving 4 to the x equals 6. And trying to do it in your head, 4 to what power is 6? Can't do it. So you're going to have to use logs. So step 1 was to get the base and the exponent isolated, and it already is. So we're on to step 2. We're going to go ahead and we're going to log both sides. So I'm going to log this side, log that side. The purpose of doing that is whenever there's a log, remember this is allowed to come out in front. So we're going to get x times a log of 4 equals a log of 6. So basically to get x all by itself, you're going to divide both sides by log of 4, and you will be able to get x because that cancels. So after you type that into your calculator, you'll get x is equal to 1.29. So in this next example, we still have the base and the exponent isolated on one side. So we're going to go ahead and log both sides again. So same deal, log both sides. And then what happens is this exponent comes out in front. So you get x plus 3 times the log of 3 is equal to the log of 5. So first thing you want to do is you want to get x by itself. So we're going to have to get rid of this log of 3 first. So we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by log of 3. And then to get x by itself, we're going to go ahead and subtract 3. So I'm going to subtract 3 from there. So I end up getting x is equal to, and then you can just go ahead and type that into your calculator. And when you do that, you get x is negative 1.535. I'm hoping you're typing these in as you go so you can kind of make sure that you can do this. So this next example, I don't have the base and the exponent isolated. So I have this 8 here. So what I'm going to want to do is isolate this base and the exponent by getting rid of the 8 first. So you're going to divide that 8 out, and then you'll get e to the 2x is equal to 3. Now it's isolated. So notice what the base is. It's natural log. So you're going to be using its inverse. Instead of logging both sides, you're going to natural log both sides. So this comes out in front, and you end up getting 2x times the natural log of e is equal to the natural log of 3. If you remember what I said earlier, the natural log and e are inverses. That cancels to a 1. So basically you get 2x is equal to the natural log of 3, and to solve for x you would divide by 2. So this is what you're going to type into your calculator. And when you do that, you get 0.549. So in this example, we actually already have the base and the exponent already isolated. So I can go ahead and just natural log both sides. So I'm going to do that. And I'm using natural log because it's a base e. So this whole exponent is going to come out in front. So I get 5 minus 2x times the natural log of e equals the natural log of 3. Natural log and e are inverses. They cancel. That's 1. So I basically get 5 minus 2x equals the natural log of 3. So I have negative 2x is equal to the natural log of 3, and I'm going to subtract that 5, because I had to get that 5 over. I'm going to divide by negative 2, divide this whole thing by negative 2, and this is what I'm going to type into my calculator right here. And when I do that, I get 1.951. So try it, see if you do get that. You're going to need parentheses up here when you go ahead and type it in. So the real application comes with solving compound interest problems. And we're going to be solving for an exponent. We're going to be looking at the time, how many, we want to know the APR, or the rate. So it says you invested $26.25 in an account that compounds continuously. So remember that formula is A equals P times E to the RT. It's that shampoo formula when it's continuously. We have to find the annual percentage rate. So our goal is to actually find the rate, which is in the exponent. So we're going to have to use logs, or in this case, since the base is E, natural logs. So we're going to plug everything in. So the amount in the account, or A, this is how much the account's worth, $43.84.52. The principal is what we started with, or $26.25, times E, we're trying to find the rate, so that's the variable, times 9. We can write that as 9R as well. So we're going to go ahead and solve this. Remember, we have to get the base and the exponent isolated in order to solve, always. That's step 1. So we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by 26.25. And if you notice what I wrote up here, you're never going to round any decimals. So you can leave this to the end to type it in your calc. So what I'm going to do now is, since this is gone, I'm going to go ahead and natural log both sides. So I'm going to natural log here, and I'm going to natural log on this side, so that this exponent can come straight in front. So let's go ahead and write what we have. So it's the natural log of 43.84.52 over 26.25, and then this equals 9R times the natural log of E. So remember, the natural log of E is 1, so then all I have to do to get the rate is divide by 9. That's what you're going to type into your calculator. So when you do that, you should get 0.057. And as a rate, remember this is a rate, we want to write this as a decimal, so we're going to move the decimal point to right, and that's the same thing as 5.7 annual percentage rate. So that's what the bank would have offered. So in this example, you're going to invest $2,000. You have a 3.25% APR, and I want to know how long it's going to take, so I'm looking for the time for it to double if it's compounded monthly. So this is the formula you're going to use. So the account's going to double, so that means the amount in the bank would be $4,000, because you started off with $2,000. That's your principal. Times 1 plus your rate. Remember, you're going to move the decimal place 2 to the left, so you're going to get 0.0325. Monthly means 12 times a month to the 12 times, and you're trying to figure out the time, how long it's going to take. So basically what you're going to do here is, this is the base and the exponent. That's what you need to isolate. So you're going to go ahead and divide out the 2,000 and you're going to go ahead and get it isolated. So you get 2 equals, and then you're going to have that. So now, since the base is an e, you're going to go ahead and log both sides, because you want to bring down this exponent right here and bring it out in front. So after you do that, you'll have this. So you want to get t all by itself. You need to isolate that. So you're going to divide out the log of all this, 1 plus 0.0325 over 12, and you're also going to divide out the 12 on both sides. So going over here, this is what you're going to have. So you're going to type in log of 2, all divided by 12 times the log of that whole thing, and that should give you the time. And once you do that, you'll get 21.356 years. So go ahead and try it, see if you can actually get that, and then you can see if you got it right.